Welcome back to Newtown Orchard and Nursery. Today we're going to talk about natives. Natives are those plants that we have in our yard that are great for beneficial insects, for pollinators, and for wildlife.
Also, some of these natives bear fruits that are consumable by us humans. And throughout our history, we've converted them into jams and jellies and such. Another benefit it offers, it beautifies your yard. We do spend a lot of time putting in hostas and hydrangeas, and those are gorgeous. But a lot of your native plants can really beautify your land as well.
So Newtown Orchard and Nursery carries quite a few natives, and every season we're adding more and more. In fact, I have probably about 1,000 native plants that are seedlings that are, not even a half an inch tall. Those are for next season.
So we're going to highlight a few of what we have for you today. So join us.
One of the first natives that we're going to talk about is the echinacea. And there's several different varieties of hybrid echinaceas. This is the native echinacea. And depending on how long the days are, the echinacea plant will get really tall. And if it's like in a meadow with lots of other grasses, then it'll get tall. So this is the echinacea, just a really popular, beautiful plant, happy flower. One of the other natives we have is a columbine, and this is a red columbine, which is native to this area, and it is really great for shade-loving areas. And some people love it, some people hate it. All of the seed pods up here, these are already spent, and they will drop their seeds, and this will continue to replant itself and reseed, which is kind of nice. And then we also have a variety of the bleeding heart that is a native variety. It's a fern type. And again, the bleeding heart is great to grow in shaded areas. When you're looking at native plants, especially in southern Missouri, the number of ornamental grasses is huge. We have so many different varieties of grasses and sedges that are wonderful to accompany all of your other natives. And so what we have here, we just have a small selection of grasses here. This is the pink muhly grass, and this one kind of got a little wind blown. It will produce big pink plumes in late summer and autumn, and then those plumes stay all through winter before you cut it down. This is just a blue dart rush, and it's kind of really pretty firm, and it stands straight up. And then the ever popular little blue stem. Almost every native garden has one of these.
So I'm going to bring to your attention a common tree that we grow here, a massive tree when it's in full size, and that's the white oak. The white oak has a lot of tremendous benefits. Number one, the wood alone is a hardy wood for furniture. It also produces white, large acorns loved by the deer. But if you ever collect those, a little bit of soaking takes out the tannin, and then crush them, powder them, and make flour out of them. I've had some of the best waffles and pancakes using the acorns from the white oak. Another beautiful common plant we have here is our redbud trees. Redbuds produce these beautiful early spring, beautiful pinkish red flowers, heavy attractants for our honeybees, and again, a beautiful addition to any yard.
Even when this one's not flowering, the heart-shaped leaves are just really pretty too. The serviceberry tree should be grown in everybody's yard, in my opinion. It's a tree that grows to about 25 feet tall. It does produce berries that are edible, but you have to fight the birds for them. I don't know too many humans who eat the berries. The thing about this is it produces beautiful white flowers in April. And that's about the same time that the Callery pear, the Bradford pear, produces. So take your chainsaw and prune your Bradford pear all the way to the ground and plant a serviceberry. It is much more beautiful. It's much more beneficial to wildlife. The bees love it. The flowers are gorgeous and the berries are beautiful too. Serviceberry, that's one for everybody.
What are we working on now? Shrubs. Nine bark. Oh, I love nine bark. Okay, nine bark. Gorgeous shrub. It grows about 8 to 10 feet wide and tall, so it gets pretty good size. It loves plenty of sunlight. It can handle some partial shade as well, but it loves sunlight. This produces these clusters of flowers all over it. They're super sweet. They're a high nectar source for bees and for butterflies as well. So this is absolutely a gorgeous plant for anyone's front yard or backyard.
So they get the name from the bark, and the bark looks like it's peeling, and sometimes as it peels, it will roll, and they said it looks like a 9.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the next shrub is the witch hazel, and this is it's a medicinal shrub. You can look up all the different kinds of uses for medicine, but it's also just a pretty shrub. It gets about 6 to 10 feet high, about 8 to 15 feet wide. It grows in full sun. It can take some shade. What's really interesting about this is that it's deciduous, so it'll lose all its leaves in the winter. But in the spring, as the branches form, the flowers form first. And they're funky, wild flowers. We'll put a picture of what the flowers look like on the screen. So the flowers form first, and then the leaves come. It's in the winter, it turns a really beautiful colors. Great little shrub to have.
Silky dogwood. You know how you can tell a dogwood? By its bark.
Boo.
Yeah. Okay, silky dogwood, another beautiful shrub. It grows about 6 to 10 feet tall and wide again, so not quite as big as the 9 bark, but still gets pretty good size. Makes a great hedging. You'll find that these create a really thick or a really
dense thicket.
Dense thicket. So good, great for a fence line. They have beautiful red stems as they mature, which are beautiful. And it provides food and cover for a lot of our wildlife here.
So the last shrub we're going to talk about is the button bush. And it can either be a shrub or a tree. Really, it's 18 feet tall and 18 feet wide. If you let it run as a shrub, it can be trained as a tree as well. And they do another really fun looking flower. They look like little pom-poms with pricklies on them. And those pom-poms are about 1.5 inches wide. They're kind of neat. Their flowers attract butterflies and beneficial insects. Just a fun little tree or shrub. If you want to train it as a tree or just let it grow wild as a shrub, the button bush.
Moving on to fruits, wild edibles. Black cherry, also known as the rum cherry. You can guess why. This tree will grow about 60 feet tall. It's a big tree. It's grown commonly for its wood. Cherry wood is highly sought after. It produces small clusters of cherries. Right now, in fact, here in June, they are ripening up, and they're absolutely delicious. A little on the bitter side. Need to add some sugar to it, but I commonly will jam them, and they're great. They're absolutely delicious. They're also good for making wine, duh. And of course, it's a battle with the birds because the wildlife love them as well. Red mulberry. The red mulberry, that one will grow to be about 50 feet tall, so it's another pretty high, tall tree. It produces fruits. It'll flower in the spring, and it produces fruit over the course of the summer. Now, these are about 1 inch long. They look like blackberries, but they have an absolutely delicious taste all of their own. Very sweet. Again, another one you're going to fight the wildlife for. Wild plum. Okay, wild plums they're great by the way, as ornamentals. These are trees that'll get about 35 feet tall, but you can keep them lower and they'll turn into shrubs. So if you prune them constantly into a shrub, they'll remain as a shrub. They produce, again, about 1 inch diameter oval-shaped plum. Pretty good sized seed on the inside, and they're sweet. They're very sweet. Well, depending on when you get them. If you pick them a little early, they'll be a bit
a little
tart.
astringent.
but they are delicious. And most wild edibles, you're going to have probably a little sugar to it if you can't handle the sourness or the bitterness. The flesh of the fruit is a yellowish color. Fruit's good. All right, this is a persimmon tree, and the persimmon tree, the native persimmon tree, produces a fruit, and they'll get. First of all, let's talk about their height. They'll get about 30, 40 feet tall. The ones that I have are about 40 feet tall. They produce an abundance of fruit. Persimmons are astringent, meaning they are high in tannins. And if you pick the fruit off the tree and try to eat it, the chances are you're gonna not like it for sure. But it's like I don't know, your mouth just dries up and shrivels up. So you gotta let them fully ripen. And often the best way to do that is to pick them off the ground. Wait till they actually fall to the ground. I will go out and take the tree and shake it once. A light shake, that's enough to knock the really ripe ones out of the tree. If they're hanging on, they're not ready. And they're also generally a bit darker. They start off a bright orange, and as they start darkening is when you know they're ready to be picked. Once they're fully ripe, they're absolutely delicious, and in my book, they don't need any sugar. They're incredibly sweet. Have a very butterscotch color to the flesh. We use it in place of banana, and we make persimmon bread. Yeah, persimmon cookies, persimmon pancakes, persimmon waffles. I'll eat them just like that. And ice cream. They make great ice cream.
So one of the interesting things is if you look up the native persimmons, it says you have to have a male and a female. We have one persimmon in our area, ours. We have not seen another persimmon tree anywhere near us. And ours is loaded down so much every year. We had to use 2x4s to support the branches. And so, you just take that with a grain of salt. Did it adapt? Is there a tiny one hidden somewhere that we can't see? We don't think so. But, they say for best practice, almost all fruit-bearing plants, for best practices, if you have two, even if they're self-pollinating, two will give you a better harvest.
The other thing is I didn't mention is people are commonly planting these in their food plot. These are for wildlife such as deer, raccoon. It's the highly sought after. Again, I fight my deer at our persimmon tree. Used to be one persimmon tree. I got 5 more out there that I've planted since then. These are absolutely delicious. So,
okay, so the next fruit bearing is the black chokeberry. It's also called the aronia. It is a beautiful shrub. It has these really beautiful dark leaves. It gets nice and full and bushy and just creates a beautiful ornamental, a nice focus point in your yard. And it does produce tiny little black berries. And if you asked me, the berries are great for the birds to take care of all of them. However, my husband loves black chokeberry jelly. And so he'll make it. Again, it's got a little bit of an astringent taste to it. You have to add your sugar or honey or what have you to make the jelly, but he loves it on his persimmon pancakes.
One of the things I want to point out is this one's got a bunch of, some people call them suckers, a bunch of branches coming up from the ground. We use these around one side of our house as a hedging, an entire hedging. And it's the one stalk, you can trim these away and let the one stalk grow, and it'll grow pretty decent. It'll be beautiful if you want to surround the bottom of them with flowers and such. But if you let these grow up, that'll help you in creating that hedging in the area you want. And as far as me making gems and jellies out of this stuff, if you want your eyes in your mouth to just pop, try these wild edibles, turn them into gems. Yes, you got to add sugar, but once you add the flavor of those wild berries with the sugar, it's incredible, the flavor. You'll never go back to store-bought again, that's for sure. A pecan tree. Okay, what's everybody's favorite pie? A pecan pie. Love pecan pie. So these are native here in Missouri. This particular variety are native here in Missouri. And I don't know, what's their height? They get pretty tall. I want to say they get 60 feet. And then they're harvested off the ground. So
the trunk on these gets really, really big. And so it's also great for wood.
Pecan bowls. Very, very popular. Anyway. All right.
Hazelnut.
Hazelnut. I don't know anything about hazelnut. What do you know
Okay,
about
I know
hazelnut?
about hazelnut.
She
Okay.
knows about hazelnut.
So the hazelnut shrub it's a great shrub, and it will form a thicket. So a lot of people use these in their yards to grow in together to be like a fence line, which is great. It does produce, they call them American filberts or a hazelnut, and it's a white, small little white nut. And if you roast it, and then humans can eat it, but mostly animals eat it. Raccoons, squirrels, chipmunks will eat it. And it's just it's a pretty flower, it's a pretty shrub, and the nuts are edible as well.
The last edible for this episode is our American elderberry. This thing is just grown absolutely beautiful. This is going to be the biggest production of berries we've had since we've been growing elderberries. Anyways, elderberries are, as you can see now, they're starting a foot off the ground, but you can see they get pretty tall if allowed. They'll produce quite a few clusters. Every one of these white flowers should potentially become a little black berry, similar to that of the black cherry tree that we introduced earlier. Again, super high in antioxidants, super high in vitamins. There's a lot of medicinal benefits for having elderberries around your place. Again, another one of those plants, though, you might fight some of your birds, particularly on your elderberries. But I strongly recommend every yard having an elderberry. But I do also recommend building a barrier, a raised bed for your elderberries would be a pretty good idea, because they're
Somewhat invasive.
They're invasive, somewhat.
Somewhat.
Yeah, no, they're native, but the roots will bend out and continue to grow large shrubs. That's it.
So these are just some of the natives that we have right now in Newtown Orchard. Like I said, next season we should have another 20 to 30 more varieties of plants, mostly perennials, that we're going to be growing, a few shrubs here and there too. So, do what you can, one plant at a time. Cut down your Bradford pear and plant a serviceberry. When you're choosing something, if you just continuously add natives to your yard, it just helps beautify the yard, and it helps the overall ecology of our area. Mm-hmm. Are you growing natives on your property? Tell us about them. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Put it down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos and share it with your friends.
Yep. So thanks again for joining us on another episode of Newtown Farm and Orchard. I hope this was educational, beneficial to you, and gave you some really good ideas.
What's the name of our company?
Newtown Orchard and Nursery.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Farm and Orchard.
Newtown Orchard and Nursery. Sorry. All right. Take care.